rise for the entrance of the official party and remain standing for the playing of the national anthem, followed by the invocation. One of our own, Chaplain Polk, will provide today's invocation.
Let us pray. Eternal and everlasting God, we are grateful and proud to have this opportunity to honor an individual who has entered our lives in various ways and will soon hang up his uniform to begin another of life's seasons. We gather this afternoon to commemorate the Lopez family who have given their lives in service to you and their country. His departure makes us reflective and grateful for the work to do, energy and skill to do it, and the high calling of a great nation to serve the cause of peace through strength and preparedness. We thank you for his example of dedication, courage, conviction, and professionalism. We also thank you for his family who never failed to support and love him even in the midst of most difficult times. Lord, as their time of service to their country draws to a close, we ask your blessings on them. As they begin a new phase of their lives, go with them and hold them, their loved ones, in the palm of your hand. And may we, who go on to the service of this great land, continue to uphold the highest traditions of our service, just as they did. It's in your most holy name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. The retirement ceremony is one of the oldest military traditions. We honor those who have faithfully served their country and reflect upon the milestones of their military service. How does a grateful nation properly recognize so many years of faithful service? Civilians can offer a heartfelt thank you. Military retirees and those that have served offer respectful well done, and an admiration and understanding that comes with having served. Those of you who remain on active duty may offer sincere gratitude at this ceremony as a token of appreciation, along with a solemn promise that you will continue to serve in keeping with the proud and honorable traditions that Lieutenant Colonel Lopez has helped to build and has steadfastly maintained. Lieutenant Colonel Lopez, a native of McAllen, Texas, enlisted in the Texas Army National Guard in September 1992 as a forward observer. He was assigned to 3rd Battalion, 141st Mechanized Infantry, Weslaco, Texas. In 1999, Lieutenant Colonel Lopez commissioned in the Army as a 2nd lieutenant in the Military Intelligence Corps with a branch detail in Air Defense Artillery as a short-range air defense officer. From 2000 to 2004, he served in every company grade leadership position from platoon leader, executive officer, and Battalion S2 at 3rd Battalion, 4th Air Defense Artillery Regiment, Fort Bragg, North Carolina, where he deployed twice in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom. From 2005 to 2009, Lieutenant Colonel Lopez permanently changed stations to Fort Bliss, Texas, where he served as a Battalion S2 at 2nd Battalion, 43rd Air Defense Battalion, where he deployed in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom. Additionally, he served as the battery commander of HHB 2nd Battalion, 43rd Air Defense Battalion, where he deployed once again in support of Operation Enduring Freedom. Lieutenant Colonel Lopez moved to Joint Task Force North, where he served as a Regional Support Team Intelligence Chief. From 2011 to 2012, Lieutenant Colonel Lopez moved to Camp Red Cloud, where he was assigned as the Deputy Inspector General for 2nd Infantry Division. From 2012 to 2013, Lieutenant Colonel Lopez moved to Fort Leavenworth, Kansas, to attend the Command and General Staff College. From 2013 to 2017, he was a Brigade S2 in the 2nd Brigade, 10th Mountain Division, Fort Drum, New York, where he once again deployed in support of Operation Resolute Support. Additionally, he served as the Deputy G2 for 10th Mountain Division. In November 2017, Lieutenant Colonel Lopez rejoined the Joint Task Force North team to serve as the Director of Intelligence, J2. Lieutenant Colonel Lopez is married to Diana, and they are the proud parents of 2 children, Gabriella and Hector III. Ladies and gentlemen, today's host for the ceremony is Joint Task Force North Commander, Brigadier General Reginald Neal.
To the Lopez family, the family that is here with us, and also the family online. We are very happy for you to join us under these circumstances. You know, the narrator read that the retirement ceremony is steeped in history. And even in the midst of this crisis, it is important to acknowledge the service of a soldier who has spent almost 3 decades in uniform. And of course, we can do it here to Fort Bliss to work as the J2. Lieutenant Colonel Lopez is well known and respected. In fact, I shared with him, I was at a key leader engagements in D.C., and when one of the members of this meeting realized that I was JTF North, he said, "Oh, how's Jumpmaster Lopez doing?" Still called him Jumpmaster. So I guess you gave him a good JPMI, and he landed safely. But just a testament to his professionalism and his name that had followed him over the years. He was very key in my education coming into JTF North. Like a lot of people, I didn't understand the complexities on the border. And I definitely didn't understand all the nuances of the criminal organizations, even drugs. I mean, I had to learn the difference between fentanyl and carfentanil and methamphetamines, which may sound simple, but this is what this organization does. And these are the terms of reference that we apply our organization. And he was very instrumental in helping me and many others get spun up in that so that we could be proficient in our jobs. He's a go-to officer. We have many, we train a lot of people. We deal with a lot of organizations. We deal with a lot of agencies. And Colonel Lopez has always been front and center on representing our command and making sure that we give the support that we are chartered to do. But most importantly, he's a family man. You can tell his wife and family's here. Had an opportunity to meet with him before because we're neighbors, but also prior to this meeting, just to talk about his career and his service, but also you can see the love and devotion that he has for them and they have for him. So after 28 years, we're going to give Dad back to you full time, and I think Mom is already making plans on his next assignment is going to be at the house and other things. But thank you for lending him to us for the time you have. You know, they say that less than 1% of Americans join the military, and I would say that even those that reach retirement is about half of that. You know, I've never met a person that said, I am sure I'm glad I got out of the military. There's an awful lot of them that said, man, if I'd have stayed in, I'd been retired. And you're one of the ones that you never have to utter those words. And the only difference is, instead of the 1st to 15th, you get paid once a month now. Even with this virus and all that we're doing, our response is just, you know, you understand it because you've lived and breathed it for 28 years. So we're not going to take anything away from this, and I appreciate your understanding, and I know those watching will take it with love as well. And thank you for your service, and I salute you.
Thank you, sir.
Lieutenant Colonel Lopez, please join Brigadier General Neal at this time. Brigadier General Neal will now present Lieutenant Colonel Lopez with letters of appreciation, the American flag, and a plaque. Lieutenant Colonel Lopez will now receive a certificate of appreciation from our current Commander-in-Chief, President Donald J. Trump. Certificate of appreciation presented to Lieutenant Colonel Lopez. I extend to you my personal thanks and the sincere appreciation of a grateful nation for your contribution of honorable service to our country. You have helped maintain the security of the nation during a critical time in its history with a devotion well done. My best wishes to you for happiness and success in the future. Signed, Donald J. Trump, Commander-in-Chief. Lieutenant Colonel Lopez will now be presented the American flag. This flag was flown over our nation's capital on February 17, 2020 for Lieutenant Colonel Lopez in honor of his 28 years of faithful service. Next, Lieutenant Colonel Lopez will receive a letter of appreciation from the Governor of Texas, Governor Greg Abbott. It has been said that the actions of the brave will allow us all to live free in this great land that we call home. Our armed services have long borne the standard of our great nation in defending our most cherished rights, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Whether within our borders or in the most dangerous of foreign lands, these courageous men and women have sacrificed much so that we may live in freedom. It is ever more evident in this changing world that liberty does not come without cost. Forevermore, you will be owed a tremendous debt of gratitude for helping to ensure that America remains a beacon of hope and freedom unto all nations. We salute you for your services to the United States of America. Signed, Greg Abbott, Governor of Texas, on the 5th day of March, 2020. Brigadier General Neal will now present Lieutenant Colonel Lopez with a plaque representing our command's genuine gratitude for his selfless sacrifice and dedication to duty since joining our ranks in 1992. Diana, please join your husband at this time. Mrs. Lopez will now receive the Yellow Rose of Texas and a certificate of appreciation from the Joint Task Force North Commander. To all whom these presents shall come, greetings. Know ye that Diana Lopez is hereby commissioned a Yellow Rose of Texas under the laws of the state of Texas with all rights, privileges, and emoluments appertaining to said office. In testimony whereof, I have signed my name and caused the seal of the state of Texas to be affixed at the city of Austin, the 3rd of March, 2020, signed, Greg Abbott, Governor of Texas. Mrs. Lopez will now be presented the certificate of appreciation. Presented to Ms. Diana Lopez. By the authority vested in me, it is my pleasure to express the grateful appreciation of the United States Army to you for your unselfish and faithful and dedicated assistance during your husband's service to the nation. Your unfailing support and understanding have helped him immeasurably to make possible your husband's decision to complete 28 years of active service. Given this 9th day of April, 2020, Reginald G. A. Neal, Brigadier General, United States Army, Joint Task Force North, commanding. Hector and Gabriella, please join your parents. Certificate of appreciation for Hector Lopez and Gabriella Lopez. By the authority vested in me, it is my pleasure to express the grateful appreciation of the United States Army to you for your unselfish, faithful, and dedicated assistance during your father's service to the nation. Your unfailing support and understanding have helped immeasurably to make possible your father's decision to complete 28 years of active service. Given this 9th day of April, 2020, Reginald G. A. Neal, Brigadier General, United States Army, Joint Task Force North, commanding. Diana, Hector, Gabriella, please take your seats. this time, Lieutenant Colonel Lopez will receive a token of appreciation from the United States Border Patrol Special Coordination Center. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise as Brigadier General Neal presents Lieutenant Colonel Lopez with his retirement award, the Legion of Merit. Attention to orders. For exceptional meritorious service throughout a distinguished 28-year career while serving in various leadership positions, culminating as the Director of Intelligence, J2, Joint Task Force North. His leadership, in-depth technical expertise, and unwavering dedication resulted in tremendous contributions to the readiness and effectiveness of numerous organizations throughout his career. Lieutenant Colonel Lopez's selfless service is in keeping with the finest traditions of the military service and reflects great credit upon him, Joint Task Force North, United States Army North, and the United States Army. By order of the Secretary of the Army, this 29th day of January, 2020. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing as Brigadier General Neal presents Lieutenant Colonel Lopez with his certificate of retirement from the United States Army. Attention to orders. To all who shall see these presents, greetings. This is to certify that Lieutenant Colonel Hector Lopez, Jr., having served faithfully and honorably, is retired from the United States Army on the first day of September 2020. Signed, James C. McConville, General, United States Army Chief of Staff.
Cool.
Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Lieutenant Colonel Hector Lopez, Jr., United States Army, retired.
Okay, thank you. That was hard. It's hard to listening to everything. First, I'd like to address everyone. Sir, thank you for doing this and for still keeping in mind the traditions that are still alive and well in the United States Army, mitigating these circumstances, and we can still get this done. Thank you very much. Colonel Garcia, thank you for attending the ceremony. I know my parents couldn't make it, and my family, because they're obviously due to the COVID pandemic, but we do have a fellow person here from McAllen, my hometown. Interestingly enough, Colonel Garcia and I went to high school together, McAllen High School, home of the Battling Bulldogs.
Bulldogs.
Class of '88, and I was a freshman, so he was a senior at that time. So thank you for making it today, sir. Appreciate it.
Hey, it's an honor.
Our Chief of Staff, Mr. Smith, thank you, sir, for enabling this and pushing this so we can do this and make this happen. Key history here, a lot of people don't know, but this is the third time that I worked for Mr. Smith. Once as a battery commander, he was a brigade commander. Then he was the Chief of Staff here, and I was here as an RST team chief, and now as the J2 Chief of Staff, sir. So thank you. I've learned tremendously from you. So, Sergeant First Class Hughes, thanks for planning all this ceremony. A lot of coordination goes into this, and I couldn't think of a better person to get this done, an NCO to get everybody under wraps and make this happen. So thank you very much. Chaplain Pope, thank you for the invocation. I really do appreciate it. It's a great touch, and so thank you for everything. To Major Mohammed Massakoy, a fellow Houstonian there, thank you for being the MC today. I really do appreciate you. Had a great touch to the ceremony. To Mr. Alex Kassim and Mr. Murillo, and thank you very much for making this streamline possible so that my family at home, friends and families can see it since they were unable to travel. So thank you very much for that. And for Eddie, our public affairs officer, thank you very much for the photos. I really do appreciate it. And great touch. We'll be able to capture everything so that years from now we'll be able to look back and enjoy it.
Sure.
Well, it's been 28 years now since I began this journey by attending basic training back at Fort Sill, Oklahoma, back in 1992. It's difficult to believe that 28 years have gone by. CG mentioned it already. We were just talking about this. Where does the time go? But it is now time for me to hang up my uniform and to begin the next chapter of my life. My career has been rewarding, and I have learned tremendously from the soldiers, the peers and leaders who have helped me to reach this point at this time. So I'm blessed and grateful to have had such a great supporting cast throughout my career. I am truly aware that I didn't reach this point alone. So to all the soldiers, non-commissioned officers, and officers who I have served with, thank you very much. It has been a great privilege and an honor serving alongside with you. I do want to take the time, though, to mention a couple of people who I believe have been extremely instrumental to my career. First, I want to thank Staff Sergeant Boyle Science. He was my first team leader when I was a young soldier. He taught me how to be a soldier, and to this day, the lessons that I learned from him, I carry to this day, and I believe this made me a better leader. So thank you very much. He's currently now a Border Patrol agent in the Rio Grande Valley sector, so I'll be able to see him here in the future. So I also want to thank Brigadier General retired Jeff Underhill, who was a great mentor and leader to me when I was a company grade officer. He taught me how to lead by example and was critical to my success as I first began my career as an officer. He was my battalion commander when he promoted me to first lieutenant, captain, and eventually appointed me as the battalion S2, the intelligence officer. Brigadier General Underhill later and I crossed paths later when he was my brigade commander and appointed me as a battery commander. So, sir, if you're out there watching, thank you very much for everything you've done to help me. I also want to take the time to thank Brigadier General David Doyle, Deputy Commander, 82nd Airborne Division, and Colonel Scott Hines, the Deputy Commander of Army South, who were both former brigade commanders of mine when I was at 10th Mile Division as their Brigade 2. They too were great leaders and mentors who taught me how to lead as a field grade officer. Both of them led by example, as every great leader should, and were critical to my success in helping me achieve my goals. Gentlemen, thank you very much for everything. Also want to take the time to thank three key peers of mine: Lieutenant Colonel retired Brian Roeder, Lieutenant Colonel Brad Miller, Lieutenant Colonel John Firstman. I want to thank you guys for your friendship and for being there for me when I needed a purest perspective. For Brian and John, thank you very much. I know the Army's in great hands with you guys remaining in the force. Most importantly, I want to thank Diana, my wife, who has been with me throughout my entire career. Just yesterday, I was looking at a picture that was taken in 1996. I was in uniform, wearing specialist rank, and I was on my way to the Joint Readiness Training Center at Fort Polk, Louisiana. Diana's standing next to me, and she's wearing her dress because she works at the Dillard's department store, and we look so young. So that picture I always use to motivate myself and everything that I do. You've always been my number one supporter throughout my entire career, and for that I am grateful. I am convinced that I would not have been successful in my career had it not been for your unwavering support. You see, many don't realize the many sacrifices you have to endure. In many cases, it is more difficult to run a household and keep everything running back in the home front while I was deployed. Life is not easy, being married to a soldier, but you were able to summon the courage and the strength to do it. You have moved with me countless of times every time the Army has asked me to move. Through the many deployments, you have also stayed by my side through the countless number of training exercises and everything goes along with being in the military. I know it wasn't easy. I'm extremely grateful for all your sacrifices that you have made so I can serve my country honorably. Thank you for everything you have done for me, and I love you. That was the hardest part. And to my kids, Gabby and Hector, thank you for your support as well. I couldn't have asked for two better kids to have raised with your mother. I want to also thank you for your sacrifices. I know you have endured tremendous. You have moved every time out from school to school, every time the Army PCSs us to a different duty station. I've missed several of your birthdays, several Thanksgivings, several Christmas days, school events, music events, and sporting events that people take for granted. We'll make all up for all those things that I missed, and we'll build great memories in the future. Just remember that I love you with all my heart. To my parents who are at home watching, thank you for a great childhood life. Thank you for taking the time in raising us and teaching us how to love. how to respect, and how to make decisions. You have provided me and my siblings a great foundation for us to succeed. To my siblings, Eric, who also served in the Army, was a 13 Bravo gun buddy. My brother Mark, who was an 11 Mike, also served in the Army, mechanized infantry. And to my sister Carla, thank you for your support and for being there for me when I needed you. It is extremely important to have maintained a great relationship throughout my career and looking forward to reconnect with you in the future. Well, I've had many memorable moments in my career that I will cherish for the rest of my life. I will not go down a list of things that are only meaningful to me and a select few. Instead, I will leave you with the most meaningful accomplishment of mine. The accomplishment is having served my country honorably for 28 years. I am so blessed to have contributed to protecting the freedoms that this great nation has to offer. It has been a great privilege leading and serving in the greatest and most powerful army that has ever been assembled on the face of the earth. I will miss many things, but by far, the thing that I will miss the most is donning on my uniform on a daily basis and serving alongside American sons and daughters. I will miss the camaraderie of serving with soldiers, non-commissioned officers, and officers that only those who serve would understand. I will miss the spirit of good friendship and loyalty amongst those who serve our nation. You see, in the Army, you may not like your current job or your current duty station, but you will always enjoy the camaraderie of soldiers that you work with, and that is irreplaceable. Nonetheless, I will begin a new chapter that my family and I are certainly looking forward to. We will be retiring in the greatest state in the country, Texas. We will be moving to San Antonio, where we'll be reconnecting with our South Texas roots. We are looking forward to reconnecting with our families and friends. So thank you so much for attending this ceremony and tuning in on live for those who couldn't make it. Protecting the homeland, Army Strong. This is Guardian 2 signing out.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remain standing for the playing of the Army Song. March along, sing our song, we're the army of the free. Count the brave, count the true, who have fought to victory. We're the army and proud of our name. We're the army and proudly proclaim. First to fight for the right and to build a nation's might, and the army goes rolling along. Proud of all we have done, fighting till the battle's won, and the army goes rolling along. And it's high, high, hey, the army's on its way. Shout out the gate as loud as strong. 2, 3. So wherever we go, you will always know that the army goes rolling along. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes our ceremony. Thank you all for attending.